Now to discuss Republican Congresswoman from Iowa, Mariannette Miller-Meeks. Congresswoman, welcome. Thank you very much on this Ash Wednesday. Thanks for taking the time to join us today. I'll ask you, what stood out to you from President Biden's speech last night?
First and foremost, I think the reflection on the courage of the Ukrainian people. So if there is any stalling of Vladimir Putin and Russian, that's because of what the Ukrainian people have done, their willingness to take up arms and to fight for their freedom and liberty. And their courage should be an inspiration to all of us. But otherwise, listening to Logan and the previous interview with Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, the only thing he managed to unify, perhaps, is the progressive or the Democrat Party. So this was more of the same bipartisanship, unity speech, but we've never seen that in reality here in Congress. And you can contrast that with the number of failures that he's had and Governor Reynolds' speech in response to the State of the Union and how wonderfully well Iowa is doing when we open up our economy, open up our schools, make masks optional, don't try to overtax our businesses and actually put forward a new tax cut. So, and we fund our police and support our police as well as our military. So that contrast to me was very stark.
And we've got that GOP response from Governor Reynolds. We'll play some of that in just a moment. But you point out the fact that we could see people's faces during the State of the Union address. Again, that mask mandate was lifted prior to the address. Your thoughts on the president's handling of COVID, perhaps Democrats overall, as we've seen now those mask mandates being lifted in more blue states in recent weeks?
I think that President Biden came in with an opportunity to score really well on handling of COVID. He had 2 vaccines already approved. A third was very rapidly approved, and he failed in his handling of the pandemic. He failed to unite people and bring them together. This is the president last night who talked about unifying, but is also the president who sent the FBI and the Department of Education to sick on parents who attend a school board meeting and call them domestic terrorists. This is the same president who called people who want to decline to get a vaccination that they should lose their jobs, that he's tired of listening to them and dealing with them. That's not a message of unification, of bringing the country together. So he had a huge opportunity to do well, but the CDC has continued to cherry pick the science. They respond to him and to Speaker Pelosi, and I think they have failed very miserably. So it's really those of us who have been following the science have been pushing them. And so now we come to the point where even Democratic governors are relieving the mask mandate, but they're still requiring masks for children in school. And there's no science that supports unmasking adults while maintaining masking for children in schools.
Yeah, especially all day long for the school days. You mentioned the GOP response. Here's some from Governor Reynolds. Let's take a listen.
Focusing on political correctness rather than military readiness. Reacting to world events instead of driving them. Weakness on the world stage has a cost, and the president's approach to foreign policy has consistently been too little, too late.
And again, that was commentary essentially on what we're seeing overseas in Russia and Ukraine at this point. Your thoughts on this administration's handling of the Russia-Ukraine crisis?
I'm a military veteran. I'm coming from a family of veterans, and I think the president's actions were too little, too late. If you're trying to deter an incursion, there is no minor invasion. So if you're trying to deter, aggressive, forceful military action, then sanctions should have already been applied. We should have already opened up our energy reserves, but the president did exactly the opposite of that when he came into. And furthermore, we are still accepting and importing oil and natural gas from Russia. That should be stopped immediately. And no payment, no money from the United States should be going to support Russia and Vladimir Putin, who's a thug.
Yeah, we've heard from GOP lawmakers the push to be energy independent at this point. Congresswoman Mariannette Miller-Meeks joining us from Iowa. We appreciate it, Congresswoman. Thank you so much.